Alright, so typically I start with my near side view. For my purposes, I like to inspect from left to right and then from right to left around, just making a complete circle on the UI. So initially when I start off on the left, here I'm checking, we got a tank car. Each car I'll look at a little bit differently, but I'm still looking for the same parts. Here I'm looking at my crossover board, making sure that it's in place. Checking my handbrake, making sure my handbrake wheel isn't bent. Got safety rail in here, making sure that that's secure, not bent. Making sure my valves are in place. Another thing I kind of look at will be the uncoupling lever of the other car. I can see a portion of this uncoupling lever, but I'll be able to see it once I get to the lower side view or the far side view. Also, I'm looking at my angle cock to make sure it's not damaged. I can zoom in and see that the handle's in place. The end air hose is connected. In handhold, it's not bent or falling off the car loose. Another thing I'm looking at is making sure the car has reflective sheeting. The car initials and numbers are readable. Also looking at the top of the car, making sure that the safety platform is in place and secured. This car is not equipped with a safety chain. Middle of the car, of a tank car, I'm also checking the ladder, make sure the handholds aren't bent. Ladder treads are secure. Here's the built stencil. I can check and reference the built stencil if I need to. Car qualification stencils, I can check that as well. Placards, making sure they're not faded or obliterated and that they're correct to the car. Then I get to the other end, checking pretty much the same thing. Hand railing, crossover board. I can actually see the tops of the wheels as well to see tread from this view. And also on this end I can actually see the cut lever on this side, make sure it's not bent or broken. I can take a look at the coupler, make sure the coupler's intact. Then I'll scroll down to the truck side view, which is a lower view of the car. From this view I can see a little bit more of the stuff, a little bit more of the parts on the car. I can get a better side view of the coupler, making sure that's looking good. The uncoupling lever, sill step, handhold on the end, and the handhold on the side of the car. I can see the retainer there. I can see that the lock is bent over, plus it's got a cotter key in it, so that's good. Now I move down a little bit, checking my roller bearings, adapter. Making sure my cap screws are in place on my rolling bearing, locking plates in place, brake shoes, shoe key, side frame, make sure that's not bent, cracked or anything. Springs, I can see portion of my bolster here, that looks good. I can see the column. Now come down, I'll look more so underneath the car from the side view. I can see that the slack adjuster is connected. Looking for any clearly visible signs of the slack adjuster being blown out or the actuating rod being disconnected. I can see all the connections are in place. You can see a resemblance of cotter keys there. You can see the handbrake chain connected to the piston. I can see that there's a little bit of slack in there, so I can know that the handbrake's not applied. Then I come down and I check the other truck, checking the same thing. On this end we've got seal and roof clips, making sure they're in place, making sure my adapter's in place, cap screws in the wheels, locking plate, brake shoes, shoe keys, springs, bolster, side frame. Same thing. Here I can see my sill steps, not loose or bent, handhold on the end of the car, retainer valves in the correct position. Also my release rod is intact and connected to the service valve. Here I have a better view of my angle cock. I can see that the handle's in line in the right direction and it is present. Can zoom in if I need to. to see if the stops are in place. So it appears to be a stop right there for the ankle cock. Train line is secure as well, so is the ankle cock. Next, I'll click and go check the other side of the car, which will be the far side. Alright, here I'm checking the same thing. I can see the top of my coupler. Handholds on this side on the end. Crossover boards in place. Safety railing appears to be straight and bent. There's a bolt there, it's not loose. Car markings are good. Safety railing at the top of the car looks good. Ladder appears to be in good condition. Placards look good on this side. Handbrake looks good. Slightly bent, but not bent to a condemnable limit. From this side on the tank car, I can see my reservoir. I can see my bolts are in my reservoir. Looks secure. Now I'll go down to check the lower side. On this side, valve crank looks good, it's connected. Sill step looks good, handhold looks good. Uncoupling lever looks good. End air hose looks good. Next I'm checking my trucks. Brake shoes look good. And roller bearings look good, adapter. Ceiling roof clip. Brake shoes on this side. Springs, bolster, side frame, all looks good. Next I can get a look at my piston. Piston looks secure and intact. Connections look good. Also coming down the car, from this view I was also taking a look at my safety railing, which would be right here in this picture. Safety railing looks good on both sides. Then I get down to this truck, checking my brake shoes, springs, side frame, bolster, roller bearings, adapters, and wheels. Sill step looks good. Handhold looks good. Angle cock looks good. Train line secure. End air hose support is in place. Everything looks good on this side. Next I'll look at the top view. From the top view, sometimes looking down I can see a different perspective of my handholds to make sure that the clearance is there from the top as well. Another thing I'm going to do is, because it's a tank car, I'm going to look at the manway cover to make sure that it's closed and secure. I can see that the seal's in it and it's closed, so that's good. Also can get another look at the safety platform, the red top running boards inside of the safety platform to make sure everything's safe and secure. Also I can get another perspective of the end of the car as well. Next I'll look at my underside. Here I'm looking at, I typically start at the couplers. I'm looking at my coupler. I can see that the knuckle pin is in place from the bottom, so it doesn't appear to be broken. Cut lever is connected. Lock lifter's in place. Yoke doesn't appear to be broken. Draft gear doesn't appear to be blown out from this view. It's in place. From here I can also check the back of my wheel plates here, make sure I don't have a southern wheel or any obvious defects. Can get a good look at the bottom of the bolster. Brake beams, making sure they're not bent or loose. Can see my cotter keys and my connections there with my brake beam with my lever, and my bottom rod. Also, I can get another view of my piston here. Checking that, my body levers, making sure they're connected, not binding or fouling. Then I can get another look at my brake beams on the other end, checking my cotter keys and brake pins, making sure they're all connected. Bolster, axles on the wheel as well. Also get another look at my draft gear on the other end, draft gear coupler carrier, yoke, make sure that's not cracked or broken, and checking the bottom of the coupler on this end, as well as the lock lifter as well. Then I have another view of the extreme other side, which is another oblique view, which shows me the other side where I can get another look at the connections and the wheel plates from a different perspective. Here I can see the top rod connection on the other side of the car, the dead lever on this truck, it's connected and in place, as well as the other end. So everything looks to be good. I would go ahead and complete this car as inspected.